Hey y'all, what's up? Happy Sunday, happy Sunday. Hope you all having a great Sunday. I myself here, and y'all know we are here back with Love Island, another week of a couple episodes. And this is the last week. Well, next week is the last week. This is the final week. The final week. So next Sunday, the 12th, will be the finale of Love Island Season 8. And what a journey. And to be honest, it wasn't a great journey. And I'm not saying they had their entertaining moments. I just feel like I don't know what's going on. I'm gonna talk about that. The charm for the peak from season 6 or 5 or 6, and then went down here for season 7 and 8. And I feel like as production do not bring it back to the basics and keep it where it was and what made it great, what it was, and stop changing things to please the audience. I think y'all gonna mess up this franchise. They gonna keep getting bigger because a lot of people know that a lot of people hear about Love Island and it's getting a lot of eyes, but that still gonna grow. Hey, Empress Boo, what's up? Hey, Casey Ware, yes. Oh, hold up, y'all. Yeah, I gotta do my little intro song. Shout out to Rihanna. Shine bright like a diamond. You're beautiful like diamond in the sky. What's up, y'all? Hey, let's go. I got the blue on today. It's about love, my favorite color. About peace, serenity. Yes, the number will keep growing because a lot of people is tuned into the show, the Love Island, the name of itself, the brand of the show. It will keep growing based on numbers. So yes, no matter how atrocious the freaking season is, the numbers will keep growing because the name, the brand of it. Not so much of the contestants. Like before, it was more of the contestants that made the show what it was, but then production just shifted things to please things, and y'all need to stop looking at so much of what social media wants and stick to the formula of their show to go back to what it was to make a thing. And then also, it's the right amount of people because sometimes the people makes up the show. Season 2, that's what season 6 was so great. Now I will go back. I want to watch season 5. I do want to watch how season 5 was because how that goes based on recommendations, based on one of my Mizzles telling me to watch that season. So I want to watch that season, see how it is before a big blow for season 6. Like I said, I started from season 6, and from there, the viewership went up, but that the value of the show kept going down. And it's a combination of the people y'all picking, and also production value and what y'all doing. Y'all changed a lot of stuff that did not make it that was successful before, that made it unsuccessful now. And it will keep going down here until y'all go back to the basics. What made the show what it was. But other than that, let's talk about this last couple of episodes, 23 to 27. I know I was only going to focus on movie night, but movie night didn't give me much to only focus a whole video on that. So movie night, we're going to be sprinkled into this, and we're going to talk about that through the rest of the episodes. And then we got a last week of final reviews, and next Sunday will be the last, it will be finale review, and call it a day. Oh, well, no. It will be for a couple of episodes, and then something like that. And then that Sunday episode is the finale. So I might do a separate video for the finale and just probably do an overall last video of my thoughts about the season, the finale, how we feel about that and everything. So this week will be the last week of next Sunday will be a video of the episodes, and then the Sunday episode, the finale, will be a separate video of our overall thoughts of the season. Yes. So how y'all feel about the season? How y'all feel about the show so far? But this is the last couple episodes. How you feel about movie night and one night? Because I want to make this a conversation because I'm not going to be go through all my notes and go to each conversation because the last couple of views I have not been doing that. I just been talking about what comes to my mind and stuff like that because to be honest, it's pointless. Like so, we know we started off with episode 23 started off at the recoupling. That big blow up of the recoupling. Anaya's hurt because she chose Casey, and I have theories on that. And another thing I have issue with is that, and I don't might to offend some people. But I'm gonna say this: the heat that Casey's getting is not because he was disrespectful. Yes, he was disrespectful. Sincere was too, but they let him off scotch free and getting all that heat. It's not because he was disrespectful. It's because he didn't choose an iron. The girls would have forgive all that if he would just came back and chose an iron. That's all. That's all. And I see it. That's why this damn war was everybody staying on one side and other people standing on one side and not understanding each other, which I'm here looking in the middle. I'm saying, you know what? I see arguments valid in both sides. That's why I was telling people the opinions of the show, your opinion doesn't trump another person's opinion. Yes, you have your opinion. I have my opinion. We both are valid. And if we understand each other, it's validity on both sides. Because if you look at it, everybody, these are young people. They're young people. They're going to make mistakes. And everybody have made mistakes. Nobody was perfect in here. Even Naya, even Trinity, even Kata. A lot of people. And Jack, Zach, Bryce, Cecilia, KC. They all made mistakes. But people get so angry and agitated with people who have a different opinions of them, which is fine, which is that. But to get so upset or mad on a TV show that we don't even know these people is ridiculous. And I see points valid in both sides. But what I am seeing in my face is that the blatant respect for movie night that we everybody see us see at 4K and how his lies and what he did kind of shifted a domino effect of people and how they moved and the relationships like that. And I think people, it would have been this big blow up at this point, and everybody would have moved on and stuff like that. If his freaking keeping things to himself and lying and telling people one thing and people moving differently because it's deceptiveness. And Miss without people pleaser business, he's not a people pleaser. If that, I know he used that as a cop out, but I know he like to tell people what he like to hear. But he's not people pleaser. He was being selfish. He was being selfish. But yeah, people still team sincere. I team sincere. Get the girl, just give him another chance. I said the only because they doing that is because out of one, it's a game to them. And then know at the end of the day it's $100 for the prize. So it's like, girl, this is only the last week, it's the last few days. Just stick it out with them. And then after we finish, if we go on a plane, you dump his ass. Or something like that. Just stick it out. Or two, at least he choose you, girl. At least he come back to you. He's a good man, Savannah. He's genuine. He's a good man, Savannah. Just take him back. He keep choosing you. It's fine. And that's what it is. Casey went off the script. Hey, how you doing? Welcome, welcome. Yes, and they please to their fans. They please to their fans. They know who their favorites are, and they edited it to the way to like I said, instead of being unbiased, instead of letting things play out, instead of letting it go back to the basics of how it was, they are big enough to their phase. And Moon Knight was a flop. If he came back and chose Anaya, even with that movie night clips, they would have been like, oh my gosh. But they would have still like, you know what? We can get through this because he choose you back at the end of the day. That's why they didn't give me much focus on sincere. Not because, oh, they know a sincere. And I say, if y'all know a sincere type, y'all know a sincere type is very dangerous in the real world. You see it in a villa. But imagine that in the real world. You up here thinking your man is faithful to you. You want to be loyal to your man. You like your man. He's good looking on stuff like that. But he is lying to you. And then he have a whole other relationship with someone else that you're not aware of. Telling them something that they think is going to be about them. And as long as he coming back to you, home to you, It's a good. Then when you find out, then yeah, he may say, "Oh, I'm sorry, sorry, Dad, this, Dad, take me back, take me back." And you take him back, and he gonna keep doing it again. But this time he gonna be more stealthy. He gonna be more discreet. He will do better. He will hide his thing better. And then he cover up with nice gestures, like that freaking thing he did at the end of the day with Roses. He only did that because he saw the clip that Corey did that. He didn't plan no dates for her throughout this whole time. He saw the movie night. He saw that Corey did it, and she was liking that. Now he want to do it. Now take a rose. Oh, I'm just saying now. Because Kato said, "What about Team Melody's feelings?" And Kato and her was going to do the back and forth. She said, "Right," but now it's all take a rose. I see Cecile. Come on. Let's go back and watch season 5 before the huge fandom, and let's see if any differences with production. Yeah, we will watch season 5. I want to watch season 5. Because I didn't hear much about Love Island until season 6 came and everybody kept talking about it. I hear much people. I ain't had no tweets or nothing talk about anybody talk about season 5. But people say season 5 helped led to season 6 war or run. Excited. Exactly. And we know a Cecilia is a dangerous type in the real world. Because he will be the type to play two sides. But long he come back to you and you keep taking him back because you know you're not going anywhere, then he gonna keep using you. He's not gonna change unless something drastic for help him to change. He's not. Now if he not nip this in his bud and not keep rewarding his behavior, because he's keep moving how he's moving because nobody really holding him accountable. Yes, Melody screaming all that sort of that, but at the same time, reward is keep taking him back. Yes, everybody see how he disrespected, but nobody jumped down his throat that they jumped down KC's. And I want to hear nothing about disrespect. I think the disrespect is there, but if disrespect is what it is, then you should get on Casey Sincere too. It not just as much, not even worse than what they did on Casey. But no, it's because Sincere keep picking memory back. If Casey would have done the same thing, we wouldn't have been having this conversation. It would have been like, okay, you said some things, but you can't. We can work it out, girl. We can work it out. And that's how they move it. That's not Proctor. It was not about no disrespect. A part of that, yes, but it wasn't about just about that. No, it's about it was not chosen. You didn't choose her to come back. You went off the script. How dare you went off the script? Now I got more smoke for you than Cecilia. What about? So Anaya's crying. She's breaking down of not being chosen. She's a fool. She feel like she's a fool. Melody speak a light to her. And the only thing I do, I like about the friendship, they had a friendship, but I do feel like the friendship needs to be holding each other accountable more. And I think so, but I also think that the reason why they was like, okay, whatever, girl, is because just like Anaya said at the end, I'm here with you, girl, and I know he's a piece of ish. And I told him that yes, I'm still sincere, but if you gonna keep taking him back, what do you want me to do? Let him go, let him go. If that's what you want, and I'm there with you. Well, if I'm there helping you pull in your house so you're not crazy and all that, and you keep taking him back, there's not much I could do. But then again, you're so excited for the friend that disrespected your friend, and I said, I don't understand. Like I'm saying, a lot of these things, I do pretty sure that Anaya and Melanie and Trinity and Kata could be good friends outside the villa if they really get off the mindset of the male centered this and really support each other. She can, yes, she can be, and we support each other. So she's breaking down. Manny's pouring it to her and saying, "Girl, you are this. Stop making this food with because she didn't pick you. All that stuff like that. He made his choice. All that stuff. She could pour her life to him. pouring life into Naya. Melody was pouring life to her, and that was great. It was great. And I said, great. I said, Melody, you said all that, or you gonna listen to your own words? Or you gonna listen to your own words? Because all that stuff you said to Naya to make her feel better, you could have said that for yourself too. When it comes to Sincere. I don't care he come back with his hair slicking down, looking all good, and he may F your brains later on that night to make you feel better. He's still the same person. And the this time he did it again in Casa when you did not see when he did in freaking Villa. I love when he hear the word disrespectful, lustful, F. Came a favorite word. Exactly. And we get all of that. We get, yes, Casey did that he was resentful. We're gonna get to that point. Yes, he said that he said things out of spite, he said things out of hurt, out of resentment, all that stuff would build up for him not being heard or him not getting needs one or whatever it is. He built a resentment of regretting that he didn't make the choice, that he made a choice, or the trajectory of how the show was going, all that stuff. How the conversation never ended in the good terms where they have conversations before cast all that stuff. We get all that. But the fact that we see in 4K and what Sincere did as well, and that's kind of like brushed off. That's why I like that Corbin was on his neck. They said, nah, you kind of misled us. It kind of think it messed up the whole trajectory. You lied, so you mislead us and lied to us. So you didn't have to do all that. And that's all they can say. It's fair. It's fair. Yeah, you know it's fair because you know you did that. And to see the light come out of Melody of how defeated she is, you could tell all her energy is not bubbly how she was in the beginning. Like, I'm Dominicana, I like this, understand, I'm all that. And it just, as the season went by, her light has been dimming because of this one fool. And everybody still Team Sincere. No, F out of here. I won't be no Team Sincere. Now, if it's about the game and you want her to stay in the thing and hopefully get the money, it's fine. Whatever. But not to the detriment of her mental health, not to the detriment of her being unhappy for the sake of a man. No, F that fool. If you might have to go home, you have to go home, but we still gonna be here there for you, girl. I'm with you. But you need to also hold on to yourself and stop taking him back. I can't keep supporting you if you're gonna keep taking him back. Because now you just making noise for what? That's why in the real world, when somebody complains to you about their friend or their person cheating on you and disrespecting you and all that stuff like that, and I would say, okay, are you ready to leave? If they're not ready to leave, or they don't give you action that they're ready to leave from, I say, no, I can't do too much about you. I can hear, I can give you a listening ear, because you can do all that, help them pack the bags, do all this stuff, let them go out. And then next minute, no, not even a week later, back to the man that cheated on her. And now you feel like you wasted your damn time. And now you upset. You say, girl, don't even bother talking to me. And I say, you know what? If that person not ready to leave or ready to leave that relationship completely, I'm just going to hear, I'm going to be a listening ear, and that's it. Now that would be a gag. Because many say, I choose me because I'm the prize. I go home. Exactly. And they had this whole mentality of being chosen. And that's what Melody said. And then she called him out. I don't care none of y'all. Y'all need to stop telling me that he choose me. And that's the whole thing. As long as he choose you at the end, we could overlook all the disrespect they did. And we see it play out in this season. Because you can say, she chooses. I say, yes, choosing me for what? Choosing me for what? Because you know I'm a fool. You know I'm stupid. You know I'm going to keep taking it back. You know I'm not changing because I'm rewarding your behavior. So During the midst of her breaking down, she see the people crying, all that stuff. That Pamela was saying, "Oh my gosh, well, I mean, like this high school and it's like that." I said, "Pamela, shut up, because you messing with a freaking young guy yourself. You so old and mature." Now I know, like I like what she said about Melody, and I like understand Melody. Appreciate what she said. She said, "Thank you. I needed to hear that from a real friend." At the end, but I said, "Girl, don't come here and think like you got this big shot and all that. Don't do that." So Trinity and Trinity told my community told like it's nothing against you, girl. It's that we had issue with Corbin and how he messed up. And one thing about Corbin is a F boy. He knows it and he don't give a F. He's honest, authentic to himself, and whatnot. He don't give a damn. The one thing he had is that yes, when he went to Casa, he said he kind of throw Kinsey out the window and he gonna pick somebody back. Other than that, he stayed true to what he keep doing. Now he will put me that he's still doing the same thing he did for me that what he did with Kinsey. So that's what he is doing. Um, so the yada yada. I think Naya and Tierra had a little conversation. They talked, and I say I don't have no issue with you, girl. And Tierra understand where Naya's coming from because she said she would have done worse or whatever. But they come to understanding because you know that whole big blowout. I'll say I don't think it was about you. I think it was more of the what he did and not choosing me and pick me, and he didn't pick me and he wiped me off. And I know we have built a connection with her. I hope you don't do that to say to you. So there's no issue with you. It's no bad blood. They hug it out. It's good like that. And I said, okay, that's cool. So all that said is done. Everybody just had their little moments, and Megan had to come in and kind of bring some life and some fun to the show. So at this time, you know, the cast of girls and boys was whoever's not picked got sent home or got sent away. And at that time, we had to vote what cast of boy or girl we would like to come back. Of course, we already know that Carl was coming back for Anaya to give her a second chance because of the decision she made following the leader. And then it was up to Sydney and Amora. And I guess the only way people going right back because of the say I said it ain't gonna work out because he's not gonna really focus on Amora. He gonna build a beat with Melody because that's his thing. He want to think like he's all about Melody. And he want to change for her. All right, change for what? He ain't doing nothing. So Becca came in looking good as ever. Came in, girls were so excited. That's what they needed. They had that little down moment, and they needed that. Kinsey as always fashion girl. I said, for anything she was bust a split, that's the time she bust a split. It's funny, a celebrity. But all the time, girl, she's good, but bust a split like it's nothing to write. She bust a split when she's angry. She bust a split when she's mad. She bust a split when she's sad. She bust a split. So Megan decided, she said, whoa! And Megan said, Kizzy. It was so freaking funny because, you know, at the midst of all that screaming next door, they heard a dump. They said, oh, that's Kinsey. I said, that's, oh, that's Kinsey, y'all. Here she go again, bust a split. But it was fun. And then she went to see the guys. And then the guys were excited too, as well. That's Megan. And, you know, she's the twerking queen, all that stuff. That clam slam. Exactly. She's slamming that puss down. Boom, boom. You will hear that split. You gonna hear the split. And I think that's what Mecca gave her that name, right? Because I was like, who gave her that name? Everybody started using it. I think Mecca said, girl, you clam slamming, girl. You clam slam Kinsey something. And they gave her a nickname. It's a clam slam girl. So she bought them swimwear. It's gonna be a hot girl summer, hot boy summer, and it's gonna be a hot girl musical cakes, all that stuff. So they had different games. The first was the hot girl musical cakes, and they're gonna pick the guy and the girl that wins, right? And then overall, she gonna pick what side wins that round. So for the girls, Tara won, and then the guys, the boys, KC won. So it's interesting, the couple won, but overall, the girls won. because they got more cakes, they could cook better and everything. Even though even though the guys did their big one, the girls overall did a good thing, right? So then they did Sweet Revenge when the guys had to grab a cake and they would pick up someone who they feel like upset them and they throw the cake in their face. While the girls have cream and then they will pick the guy that upset them and cream them in their face, right? So I didn't write down the reasoning why they picked the person because it was too much. So I just only write down who they cake or who they cream. So Gal, cake Melody, Zach, cake Trinity, Kata, cake Pamita, Dylan, cake Anaya, Bryce, cake Kata, Cecilia, cake Jen, Casey, cake Trinity. And I guess they say it was about his behavior. But whatever, like I said, all that would have been given and he would have just went back to the Naya. It is what it is. And yeah, y'all can all say y'all can be disagree with me. It's fine, but this is what I'm saying. And I noticed a lot of people else noticed that too, especially with the call for, like, and they make it say you don't have to put one person down to pick up another person, which is true. Yes, you don't have to do that. I give you that. It's true. You don't have to pick up TT and putting down Anaya. And he didn't remember he said the casting, so I guess they would show that later on. But yeah, I mean it's true. I'll be like I said, I'm a fair person. Yes, if you are not going to be with that person or you don't feel for that person anymore, just let it go. Let them know you don't want to be with them like that, and not down them. But that's that. And Corbin, Kate, Kinsey. Now when it comes to the girls, the creaming Jaden, Cream, Gal, Kata, Cream, KC, Jen, Cream, Corbin, Pamela, Pamela, Cream, Corbin, Trinity, Cream, Bryce. I don't know why I put they right. I don't know what they right about. Kinsey, Cream, Corbin, Tierra, Cream, Sincere. And he said, oh, well, I tell the truth, but I don't tell the whole truth. I said, boy, shut up. That means you're lying. That's we got cleaned. Like, I tell the truth, but I don't tell the whole truth. That means you're omitting information. Melody Cream, Casey, and Corbin, because between those two. And then Naya Cream, Casey, and it was a that way Cream, because she was like, shh. It's like that. The girls weren't overwhelmed because at the end of the day, yes, most of the guys, they were throwing cake, they were missing the girls, all that stuff like that. I said, what's up with your aim? But when they come to the creaming, that table was all messy. So the girls were doing the most. They did their thing. Girls won that round. And then they had the winners for the boys and the girls. Out of that, they said the boys was Zach and the girls was Kinsey. And they had a final cake off. When we get the prize, what was this thing, which is the message, and they had to use no hands. Kinsey had a full-time lead. She thought she bit something and she put something, said, oh, this is this, that. I said, even make her say, Kinsey, what the hell are you showing me? It's like a kid or something like that. I said, that's not the prize, girl, keep going. Zach came later and he devoured that cake. I said, ooh. I said, ooh, you know they eat. you better eat that cake, boy. It will all fuck with you. But you know how to eat that. You better eat that cake. and note said revenge is sweet. So they said, what that mean? So Megan said, listen, American voted what Costa Good and Boy was their favorite that was not chosen to come back to have their sweet revenge. And drum on me, please. It was Amora and Carl. So everybody was so excited. They said, oh my gosh, yes. Everybody was excited for Carl. The guys excited for Carl. The girls excited for Carl. I said, girls, you can focus on Carl, girl. Leave us alone. Focus on Carl. And that what it was. So they came back. Now excited. They all good. They welcome them back, open arms, and hear all the craziness. Like so, Mora and Carl is back, and the ladies welcome Amora to the villa, want to get to know her. They wanted to tea about Casa. She told her a little bit what's going on. And in the midst of that conversation, TT pulled Amora away and said, listen, Cecilia acting real different than here than when he was in Casa. So we need to get like, take him down kind of thing. Yeah, like, and yes, Carl's a nice guy and everything, but I don't want everybody put him too much on the pedestal. And let's see how that goes outside the villa. They may could work, they may not could work out. We'll see how that goes. But yes, he's a nice guy for now because we needed that. But hopefully, if she can work with some of her behaviors that she did that kind of break down the relationship with her and Casey and learn from that and be understanding and welcoming and take that and they can really hear each other out and listen to each other and build a connection, a foundation. Yet each could be heard and each needs being met, then they could flourish couple. They could be a flourish couple. But we don't time could tell whether or not they succeed and to be successful. Let's tell you that now. Y'all know I don't really care who wins or not. I don't really watch the thing to see who I really like, who couple I like and not like that. So whoever wins wins. It is what it is. I might like some people here and there, but a couple wise, I don't really know give a damn. So whoever wins this season, y'all have it. I don't be voting either way. So Cole said he opened still up for a night, even though he still hurt, so he gonna be a little squirrel and gonna have a rolls up a little bit. She understood because what she did and excited for Naya and all that stuff and whatnot. So all this conversations going on, first dates. Trinity and Bryce had their first date, and that's what Bryce asked Trinity to be his girlfriend, not to be closed off, to be his girlfriend. So I said that's cute, and she excited about that. But I was like, okay, whatever. I said it took this time to have first dates. I like usually the day you have this first date throughout the day, especially they find like a couple is solid. They will have them going on dates throughout the season to solidify their relationship, not wait all the way to the last minute or last close to the end to start doing these dates. So Melanie Moore had a talk, and she basically said much of nothing. To be honest, she just said it wasn't a blip, it wasn't a thing. But you didn't say what he said to you that if it wasn't me, if he had more time with me, he would have brought you back. And she said, "Listen, he said it's crazy because he's like he's the type of dumb girl that keep bringing him back, all that stuff like that, all that." I said, So all the dates is still conversation. A lot of conversations happening. Like I said, I'm not really going through all these conversations. I want to talk about some things. And then what's important in this episode? Because remember, Jen brought Gar back because she's interested in him, but at the same time, Gar said he was still interested in Kenzie. And the fact that she don't want nobody that really competition with her, so like that. Another thing, I said, girl, you know how Kenzie was moving, so maybe you should not have brought Gar back. And first of all, I'm still upset that you bring this guy back anyway. I'm tired of looking at him on my screen. I'm glad he's gone. But you should have went home for that. You should have went home for that. Stop your pull, because I should F you up last night. Try it with me again, girl. Because that stuff you pointed out, thinking we're coming in again, picking his ass, and then thinking filler. I could have, girl, curse your ass out. They saved you, and you wait till you're pick up for him. You're a dummy, Drake. Stop it. all for him to not have much options because she said let's have I think she said affectionate or something like that. Girl, you better stop it. He would never. I roasted his behind since I saw him on my damn screen. I was like, oh, girl, get out of here. And why the hell is his man feet so dirty, damn dirty all the damn time? Are you walking on mud? A lot of people walking barefooted, but your ass is always dirty. Oh boy, nah. So Trinity and Bryce came back. They said the boyfriend girlfriend news. Everybody decided, it's like that. Then they said he only got eyes for Kenzie and whatnot. They talk about the ideal date and all that stuff. Now, Jen and Go had a conversation. He act like he being pressured, and what he act like he being pressured for to be affectionate, and he said he's not like that. He's not big on affection. He's not big on kissing like that, and everything. He didn't want to do that. I feel like he be pressured. And I said, Jen, I just want to know. We have a conversation. She's understood it. It's like, okay, I want to take a step back. I'm not going to pressure you. We're going to try to build it up. Let's build some foundations like that. Work. That's that. To turn around and have a conversation with her, pick a fight with her, turn it on around on her, and like that she was the issue, that she will force you to be affectionate, she will force you to this, that. He ain't like that. He's not a big on affection. He ain't big on this. He ain't big on that. And he did say that how he coming in, a lot of people didn't want him because he's not. That's right, because they all solidified their own couple, so you don't have much option. The only people you only had was Jen, and then only Kenzie entertained you because Kenzie entertained anybody who entertained her. Everybody's a type. So the fact that you didn't have much options, don't you think you should not have ended with Jen? Boy, he picked a whole fight with her just to end it and broke up with her. She said, hold up. She was so stunned, she didn't even know what to say. She said, oh, I guess. I guess that's it. But then that's why I said, Jen, I don't know why you were telling the people that was a mutual understanding, mutual agreement. No. Tell them what he did. Tell them that you was had a hope in the relationship and he broke it up with you and pick a fight with you and made you the issue. Just to broke it off so he could do made out session with Kenzie. After you just show you not that confessional like that. And I hate that they made him have the power like that. I saved you for you to break up with me, you ugly bitch. And she go around sugarcoat it. Oh, it's a bitch you understand. It's a bitch you nah. Yes, I do believe he could have gotten Kenzie if she wasn't guilty into choose Dilla. Oh yes, we're gonna talk about that. Because Dilla put a fireworks to the guards, a performance to the guards. So Anaya and Casey had that first conversation afterwards because she was upset that he didn't come and check up on that and then when she was breaking down and crying, she felt like he should have went to check up on her right then and there, despite her outbursts. Which I understand why she probably wanted him checking up, but I also understand why he didn't because he said, "You out there, I want to give you some time." But according to her, she don't want no time. You should have went to check up me, check up on me. Saying she was disrespectful, he ripped her off. He couldn't speak. TT was talking more. And Trinity, I said Trinity was talking more as well. Not apologize, own up to it, be cool. Don't want to be near him. That's all that stuff I wrote down. Now he said, now go get called. Not there, he was petty there. He was. Yeah, go get calm. I said, ooh, scoop up that face like that, boy. Ooh. We know that's a defense mechanism he does when he use laugh and stuff like that. Because, like I said, when he's uncomfortable, he does the laughing thing and the faces that he make and all one other stuff like that. So that's the defense mechanism he has. One other thing. So kids ain't gal. Gal's her type. He was full of it. Because remember he was saying he's not touchy and all that stuff with Jen? Say he don't do all that. But him conversations with Kinsey, all that touching. And they made out. They wasn't just they made out. I said, you're a whack friend. You're a whack friend because this is the second time you did this, Kinsey. Behind your friend's back, being sneaky. And that though somewhat you be honest, but you're not always honest all the time. Because at movie night, I wish they would have showed all the stuff you were saying about Melody and how you was moving with Corbin. It would have added more validity. But they ain't show that. And you lucky. You lucky, Kenzie. So next night will be movie night. You was dogging Melanie. Speak a couple of Corbin. To the point that she couldn't really even freaking have a connection with Corbin because you was all in the way. You care about more her feelings than you care about mine. I don't feel like you give me no signs that you like me. And when I went to kiss you, you didn't kiss me. So why are you there? You respected her more than you respected me? I don't like that. She would kiss Corbin because of you. I guess. I mean, it would have hurt if you would have explore him, but I guess. No kiss is crazy. Exactly. I guess it would have hurt me if he would have explore him, but I guess. I said, good. If he didn't want to do it, just say it. Because it's all in your face. You want people to chase after you. They have the options of being all that. And it's like people say, no, like I said, it's not about her moving like a man. Like I said, I'm good for the woman do their big one. Cause y'all know at my channel, I always live up for the woman to do their big one and not thinking put all the eggs in this man. Cause this man will dog them out. You see it time and time again, the woman's crying their heart out, being so loyal for the no good man who don't deserve it. So I'm good for that. It wasn't about her moving like a man. It is what it is. Nobody upset with that. But if we go talk about respect, yeah, she was being disrespectful, especially behind her back, friend's back, being sneaky, and keeping the attention away from the person that he supposed to focus his connection with, to build with. Yes, at the same time, Melanie was sipping on soul ties because she was thinking about Sincere. But she could at least have her mind focused on Corbin, and Corbin and her would focus a lot on each other, and Kizzy would stay out the way and focus on her relationship with Caleb. She said, telling Caleb that she was you wanted. And then Caleb Corbin, I always had a strong, like I said, you only had a strong connection because it was lustful. But then again, you want to tell us that you was not lustful, girl. Get out of here. Your Corbin only connected because it was sexual energy. It's not because y'all was deep. It's not because y'all could have something out of here. No, it's because he was DJing you left and right. Which you come to find out, we know French fries being DJ. And when I say, I don't know why you just ain't say DJ, and I don't know why we put up a freaking name to it. Everybody called it DJing before. Now all of a sudden you put French fry in there. We trying to understand what French fry means. But somebody asked, it just needs DJ. I said, so why you say DJing? I ain't putting a name to it. Do all that, and that's that. It's okay, you do it, but it does to you. You have a whole fit. So that had a friend out on what? I'm glad that Jen told her off. But we're going into that in a minute later on. Because girl, oh you know no before movie night. This is before movie night. So yes. So apparently Jen and Kinsey supposed to be cool, and Kinsey had to find out to other people before because when Kinsey talked to freaking talked to Dylan. Dylan act like his whole world burned down. He crying, no tears were coming out. So, and kind of the fact that he did that kind of guilt tripped the Kinsey to settle down. Kinsey was pissed. You can tell. She was pissed. And now this guy put a performance, and I said, that's why I don't have no. I have smoke for Dylan anymore. Let me tell you why. Because I said, Dylan, you full of it. You full of it. You just came there, act like you had all this emotion for Kinsey, not knowing how Kinsey moves. You and Amora are Casa boys and girls. Y'all had the umpteen advantage to knowing what girls you probably want to talk to and what the people was moving before you got there. You saw how Kinsey was moving. You saw what she did to her friend Melanie. You saw how she moved. But you still pursuing her. And then when she told you about what she did with God, you want to have a whole ass breakdown. And then all that, and still did sexual things with her at that night. You easy bitch. Like I said, men does that to guilt trip what they want. He did all that thing to guilt trip. I said, "Oh my God, Kinsey was worse. She did his wrong." He went over there to figure Kata and Zach. They said, "What the hell's wrong?" Being a Warlords, the performance of the guards, knowing that you know how she moved. I was buying that at one bit. Kata told Jen about what happened. Now she wished that Kinsey would have told her. Kinsey said she was going to tell her anyway, but it got to her before she even told her. That's how it's like. Not all the times Kinsey is dishonest, but there are times that she's not honest, all the way up front, and she be sneaky. That's the issue. It's not because she was with the man. It's like, good. If you said the men had to be respectful in the midst of exploring, then she had to be respectful in the midst of exploring. Because low key, she was breadcrumbing Caleb and thinking it was all about him, and then going back to Corbin and all that stuff like that. And then she would lose Gall, and she went into Gall, and then Dylan, and all that stuff. And now Dylan guilt tripped her, and now she's like, "Oh, well, I didn't want to hurt her, and he hurt. I guess I hurt his feelings." Because the reason why she didn't stop a long time ago, because Corbin didn't give a fuck. Corbin didn't care. Kobe had some red flags. He didn't give it back, so he just stole Kinsey out the window. So she couldn't have had no date to settle out. Because if Corbin gave that performance, maybe she would have been like, I guess I'm going to settle down with Corbin too. Sincere said he's done exploring. He want to close off. Bye-bye. And the Mormon girl, I still like, girl, you knew what the hell he did to Soul. You knew he used Soul, and you thought you was different. Everything works out for me. Everything works out for me. Everything comes to play. I got all the cards in my table. All the affirmations in the mirror. Mirror on the wall. Sincere, I'm the favorite of the all. Sincere going to pick me at the end of the day. He going to bring me back in the fella. Everything worked out. I got to wrap around my finger and dust your ass. And now you like, and now y'all have more smoke for Melody than you have for Sincere. What the hell is going on with that? Every person that Sincere played, you have mad smoke for Melody. I said, what the hell she did to y'all? So let's so Dylan and Kenzie talk. That sad puppy eyes, all that stuff, the performance he got what he wanted. She said, I guess I won't spoil no more. I said, damn, you make Kenzie not spoil anymore. At the end of the day, Kenzie, he ain't have much time left. But don't let this fool guilt trip you to stay in a relationship if you didn't want to be one. Now, Dylan is the right person for you. No, Dylan guilt tripped you. That's what he did. Now, here come movie night. Let's get into it, y'all. If y'all join in, please like that button. Hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Hope you understanding and agreeing with not agreeing, understanding and liking what I have to say. Yeah, I'm not one side stand person. I like to see all sides of things. I like, and here's why I want to continue to see all sides of things. Let's go. So the movie night comes. This is everybody wants to see, and I said if we're gonna do movie night, do it well. Let's show what Trinity. Let's say well, not Trinity. Let's see what Vice was saying, and let's see what Zach was saying, because Zach has had a lot of shit he was saying about Trinity and stuff like that. We just want to see that. I want to see. They want to show how Kenzie was moving behind Melody back and how she was upset to stand for Melody. Because you know, Jen, you know this T, because you was there when Melody was freaking Casey was talking about Melody. Yeah, we're gonna see the Casey thing. But I said I want y'all all only focus on Casey. I want you to see it was sincere thing and what he was saying. It was a lot of stuff. We come to the end of the movie night with 3 doors not being shown. And I want to know what was those 3 doors. Even with the thing, you could tell production skewed it to a certain narrative they want to put it instead of putting it out all out there. Casey had his moments, but also Nia was down on him too. They show some of that to make it fair. But whatever. Y'all gonna have your opinions. It is what it is. Flip coin. They go flip the coin. Whether it lands for boys or girls, they will pick a door and then we'll show the clip behind the door. Right? So the first clip was door number 6. That was a Zach and Alana interaction, the casa. Kata was crying a little bit in that section, or at least she was having some tears in her eyes about the whole connection, whatnot, all that stuff. I mean, Abby, he didn't go all wild out and disrespectful, but at the same time, he still had a connection there, and he came back, single. But hold that thought. So door number 8 came next, and this was the whole Casey and Corbin conversations about Anaya, about all that stuff, and Casey things, and what he feel, whatnot. And this is what I have, right? And also, yes, I want to let y'all know that they got riled up with Casey's segment, but it's very true that the thing was switched, and that's why. Cecilia was last in the episode, but Cecilia was actually first before Casey's. Because we look at Melody, her makeup was already ruined through Casey. I said, why are you crying, girl? What the hell Casey did to you? Her makeup was already ruined. But when she started off the Cecilia thing, her makeup was intact. And then she started crying again. I said, oh, they flipped the order. Don't know why they did that. And now it makes sense why everybody was so riled up through the Casey scene. And everybody was mellow through Sincere. Which I don't understand. How we go from that and then went downhill with the calmness. And we know that Sincere was more disrespectful. Because he lied to all your asses. All y'all was fooled. I would have been like, hold up. But, they respected her wishes because they want to, she said, no, I'm done. She got broken down. I don't want y'all to say nothing. But I said, hell now. No. Maybe not Tuesday night, but Thursday, when you pipe up, we'll be piping up too, girl. But that ain't happen. That ain't happen. Then they had went off on her own. And everybody sitting there looking like, okay. Maybe she low key called y'all out and y'all ain't gonna say nothing. But I said, no, I'm gonna pound on him too. You hurt my friends. If hurt was the factor and why you could step in, then let's do that. And like I said, that's why I said it wasn't about the respect. It was about the choosing. Even though they all saw at 4K what the hell he did and messed up the girl, and you can see how she's so defeated and broke it down. And I said, oh my God, I hate to see my girl like that. So you gonna get my tongue lashing? No, it's like, well, at least he came back and choose you. And that's what she called him out. I said, I want y'all to stop telling me that. So Casey said, so the glamour comment, Anaya was not tripping off of that. She said, yeah, I go to bed, y'all. I go to bed fast, y'all. So she wasn't tripping on the glamour comment. So all that discourse online, like I said, that she was not tripping over the glamour comment. He said the seriousness, he got to be serious all the time. Being serious all the time was a job for him. He can't be himself. He can't fix past trauma. I mean, yes, a lot of stuff that he was coming out was kind of venomous in his speaking it, in which I would say, yes, he's wrong, completely wrong for what everything he said. Yes, completely wrong, because how he came out like he was angry and upset or something, and it just lashed out. So yes, the venom was there. That he said, make the problem way bigger. She always make problems way bigger than what it is. Don't understand his power aura. I said, now, you have to say all that, but now they're going to go through for that too. Power aura, nothing common on Naya. Sometimes when people say they have nothing common on a person, it's not really a big deal. But I feel like if y'all had nothing common, it was no compatibility, maybe I should have not get to Casa still in a relationship. Maybe I should just broke up. Maybe you should open your mouth and then break up with her if you feel no compatibility or something like that, or vice versa. But they both went to Casa, still hold a little strong, then something could be there. Well, at least Anaya thought. Anaya, he is better with TT. He's not happy with Naya, not at peace, and all that stuff. So in the midst of that, and all that said is done. So and they was like, oh my gosh, all that stuff. So they all shocked everything that he said, which is understandable. Like I said, I'm not on his side. I'm not on her side. I'm in the middle of things. So it's validity in both sides, y'all. And his feelings is valid, and how he felt like he didn't say much, he couldn't say much, and he couldn't do this. Yes, he could have spoke up and felt discontent, but a lot of the conversation they had, she keep walking away, and so like that. So all that sort of building resentment. So and also stuff that he probably resented for that she probably didn't know of either. But all that was building up, and it just kind of lashed out. So part of it, he needs to take responsibility of how he didn't say much or all of that. But at the same time, through the conversation in relationships, they didn't really get much out of it, because every time they're trying to hash things out, she would walk away. So it never got resolved. And before Casa, I was able to show that, but they didn't show that. Tell her, do whatever you want. To me, that was the last straw for him. So he went to Casa to do whatever he did. So Trinity did that. Trinity came. So Trinity said, why you didn't say anything if you didn't feel anything with Naya? The issue was physical things, and you played the safe. To be honest, if y'all want to be fair with this playing safe thing, because I know this was whole discourse, they both was playing the safe. Yes, I said it. They both were playing the safe. Because he didn't explore, he regret not exploring soul. So yes, maybe he should have done that. That's part of his statement that he didn't go after. And that part of I would think of because Sincere was playing a big role and not allowing that to happen as much. Because he let it blind to people doing all that stuff, and that made some so all it took because he was what he was saying. He regret not pursuing her. He was just that a lot of things like that and playing it safe. So the fact that he was playing it safe for night and not doing more because he would continue on, she playing it safe because she didn't have other connections either. She didn't. So what option she had? She didn't go after them like that much. She didn't. So they both played the safe. So I don't want to make this a one-sided thing, or he only played the safe, but she did. No, because if she had options, then this is a story. But she didn't. So she played the safe. He played the safe. They both played the safe. So the guys like that, and they would tell TT, "Oh well, you would say yeah, he never been this happy and all that stuff that he was with TT, and then with Ganaya and all that stuff that guy." And he said so shocked. So they would say, "Do you look surprised that Casey said all that?" And the guys couldn't really answer that much. What he said was disrespectful. It was not a good light. But y'all did was tell TT that y'all see him in positive light. He's happier. So ladies are still jumping the conversation. He tried to get a word out. They not doing that, all that stuff. Well, let me see. Trying to get a word in. Couldn't really get a word in. All that stuff. Now, during the midst of all of that, Kato was sitting there like, because she after Corbin and KC segment, they saw that Alana was not in Casa. So she said, hold on, where's the Angel girl at? They said, no, she left in Casa. She left. So she wasn't there. They said, no, she left. Remember, Zach was coming back and make it seem like he chose her, and he made a choice to come back and choose her. He never admitted that the reason why he didn't have no choice to come back alone because she left Casa. Even if I believe that he would have come back alone no matter what, you should have still told her that I came back because I didn't have no choice. But at the end of the day, I would have still had to choose you, no matter if she stayed or not. But she left Casa. It would have been no issue. So then everybody going back and forth, and Kato was like, if 1 + 2 equals 3, and 3 + 2 equals 5, and red and blue equal purple, and blue and yellow equal green, A squared plus B squared equals C squared. There's an A, and there's a Z, and there's a Z to an A. And he came back and told me that he chose me. But she was out the equation. So if you're already out the equation, what choice do you have? So she was on her mind trying to piece it together. I said, girl, where you at? And then she said, hold up. Let me say something. So Alana wasn't there. So if she would have been there, would you have chosen to come back? He said, no, I knew this would be something like that. And everybody was trying to say, you should, he would have came back anyway. I said, that's not the point, y'all. The point is, he should have not admit that information if he was going to come back. It wasn't pointless. It was not irrelevant. It was very relevant because it made me think too. I said, if she would have stayed, would you have brought her back? And you come in here and make it seem like, oh, I choose you, girl. I choose you. Yeah, you choose me because you had no choice. Because you didn't have no other connections there. It was only her. So she didn't know about that until moving that. I said, why you have to wait to moving that to find out? You could have just told her it would have had no issue. Whatever. So she was upset about that. Now the next segment, door 10. This is the Casa, this is a Naya experience. The open exploring, the guys bought it, it's a double standard. And when that's after they saw a segment, so Cecilia got up, he said, the guy said, it's a double standard, it's a double standard, it's a double standard. They said, what is a double standard? What's a double standard? Like I said, the issue wasn't at the exploring. They said the issue was a disrespect. Casey was disrespectful, and now was not. But I would say, and I was saying the same thing that Casey was saying, but she just was not venomous with it. However, I don't think the issue was disrespect. The issue was that he didn't chose to come back to choose her. Or that would have been okay if he came back and choose her. Like everybody else came back for their girls. Except for Corbin. They would not have been upset. Now that further validity to what I said. Because they did not go ham on Sincere. I don't want to hear nothing about they were so shot and I don't want to hear none of that. They ain't give a damn about paddling on the guy. He tried to speak and y'all can't even let him speak. I do it again. I said, okay, yes, you're gonna keep doing that. You're gonna keep making picnics too. Male censored. Get out of here. I know holding your friends accountable and holding them accountable. I understand that, but you gotta do that across the board. Don't do that for one person and then let the other person unscathed. So Seth piped up, right? Remember, Casey was trying to talk. They didn't want to let him talk. You didn't give him the opportunity to talk. But when Sincere piped up, especially because remember when Trinity said, "You're the last person to speak," and I was like, "Why are you speaking?" That made it, that further solidified that Sincere was before, because it wouldn't make sense for her to say that if she never saw what the hell he was doing. Because they were still on Sincere, they were still liking him. So it went on for him to say, "Why are you speaking?" No, she said that because she saw Sincere clip already. So now it makes sense why she said that. And she said, "You should have been the last one speaking. Why are you speaking?" So he said, "I'm the fuck with you, Naya. Fuck you, Naya. I don't care. Just shut up." I said, "First of all, Bryce, don't be Bryce. He told your girlfriend to shut up. Or you want to say something?" Are you going to say something? Is I know I love you, Noah, but you better not tell my girl to shut up. So they said, so Kata um, and Trinity were trying to go back and forth a little bit, man. He said, because they're about to try to all get the double standard down, right? And he said, if Nia was before KC, it would have been the same thing. It's just that KC didn't want this because y'all both did the same thing. They said, "So why are you speaking? You should be the last one speaking." Or something. I fuck with you. You shut up. I'm not talking to y'all. I ain't talking to y'all. I should shut up. So like that. The same thing Casey was trying to do that, and he didn't want to talk to him like that. Now I feel like some segments, yes, a movie night could be movie night, but sometimes things could be worked out if the only person involved would be speaking. Because the Kissing segment, nobody else jumped in. It was a one-on-one thing, and that was fine. Nobody really jumped in with Sincere thing segment either. It was a one-on-one thing. I mean, Bryce was coaching Sincere, say something to Sincere, but whatever. So when they were going back and forth, you say, "I ain't talking to y'all songs on Naya," she had more respect for Sincere. And she said, she told the girl, let her speak. And let her speak. I said, oh. So we can't let Casey speak, but we can let Sincere speak. And y'all already saw Sincere's clip, and you know he was very disrespectful to y'all and lying and mislead all of y'all. But you gonna continue to let him speak because he got berated, and now he wanna pipe up, and he got his ass handed to him or whatever happened in the segment. And then speak, and she was like, "Yes, yes." Mm-hmm. I said, mm-hmm. So Zach made a statement, and he was kind of right. He was right. He was right a little bit because I said they only saw the live stream. The live stream was shown to y'all so to force y'all to explore. They did that to make y'all stop being loyal and to explore, which they did their job. But if I remember correctly, I don't remember KC say anything rude about Anaya there. I know only thing I know somebody said something rude is that Corbin said he would throw Kinsey out the window and he gonna pick somebody already. And all the guys were excited for the girls. Yes, he made comments about the girls outfit and stuff like that. But they was all excited, so I'm not gonna hold on to it. They all was excited, so they were disrespectful there. Just like when guys go to the strip club, you won't see him come back and fuck the girl. That's what they do. So that's that. Kissing happening. It's a challenge and whatnot. In the photos, yeah, or they show photos of both sides kissing another person or make a connection. So that's nothing to go off by. So before y'all seen the clip in movie night, you did not know what he was saying in Casa to say anything about disrespect. So what y'all was mad at? And that right there made me believe that it wasn't about the disrespect yet, because they did not see the disrespect. It was about that he did not come back and choose a night. That's what it was. Point blank, period. That's what it was. And then on top of that, Bryce told Trinity about something that he paraphrased Casey or misled what Casey said. And that got her up him too. But at the end of the day, that was upset about because he didn't come back. If he came back and been with Anaya, a lot of these issues would not. They would have had a moment, but they was pushed back. He said, "Well, he needs to come back to you." Because that's their stick. They keep saying that. At least he came back to you. At least he chose you. Let's say it to Melanie. That's what Melanie said. I didn't you have to stop telling me that. So she said the boys want to have a game up on her, and she would have came back and the roles were reversed. I said, I don't know, because they was upset that they sent Gabe home, so I don't know. They will still be upset. But that was a collective thing. It was a one-on-one thing. So they was upset their choice, based on their logic. Why you sent the game home? If that based on your logic, that you should have had sent kids, you should have got sent home if that same logic, but they didn't do that. But no, they would have been upset a little bit, but that's the point. Especially if they do the choice, yes. Then would that be that bothered? It is what it is. And they said they jumped on the man before he even know what he did. She said, "Well, I go do it again. I will do it again." I said, "Okay." Then freaking jumped on Kid Sincere, and then see y'all do it again, but y'all ain't do nothing. So he was trying to talk. I guess Mr. With Casey trying to defend his point. They don't want to let him talk. After the guy, he was trying to talk and get up. Now it was arguments like that happening. He stood up. However, and I'm gonna stand by this. I don't care nobody say. I know I said it on my Twitter and like that. I'm gonna stand by with my decision. He stood up to me, not in a threatening way. Yes, he should not have stood up. Understand the optics of it all. He should not have stood up. But he stood up and he did not approach their side. He stood where he's at. So he's wrong for standing up. I will say that. He's wrong for standing up. However, I also have an issue that Anaya got up, walked over to his side, get in her face, and screamed at him and yelled over him. So why he's standing up? And he said matching energy. Okay, fine. With a match energy, so when Melanie was getting up and berating Sincere in that segment, so he should got up and match her energy too, right, y'all? Based on your logic, if we match your energies, by no means I'm excusing his behavior. He should not have stood up, but I don't think he was doing it in a threatening manner. He was doing that to be heard. And later on, Anaya understood that. Because they didn't want to let him speak. Now, if he got up and walked to the direction, then I said to Casey, why are you doing that? Now you're being threatening. Hey, J Boo. Welcome, Mizzy. Now, why you did that? Now, me, that would be more threatening. Yes, the optics of him standing up doing an argument, yes. But you didn't make it any better by getting up and walking to this direction, because in the real world, some guys will not like that. You screaming in their face like that. Some don't got no freaking restraints. So we got to understand the opposites of everything. He shouldn't have stood up, but she stood up and matched energy, but walking to his direction and in his face, even though y'all was already separated in different sides. No. And I will stand by that. I don't care what I say. I will stand by it. I didn't like it. Because I want nobody come in my direction if I'm not near you to come all in my face. So we match your energies. When Melody was berating Sincere, if he felt type of way about her standing up over him or like that he should have got up and smashed the energy too. If we go about logic. If I correct along, y'all let me know. That was too much. That was too much. And I understand when people saying that, yes, if you stand up in an argument, it makes you being threatened. I understand. I get it. I understand that argument. Also, you have to understand my argument that he did it as not a threatening manner. He did that as his own thing, but she also should not walk up over there and yell at him. And so he's released him, or he did all that. He's released, I'll be yelling. I said, okay, good, fine. Do what y'all want to do. But actions have consequences. His actions are consequences. The actions are your consequences too. Because this is a world war. You want to man face somebody who will not have much restraint. And y'all know, I don't like how men treat women. So let's be that clear. So yes, it could be threatening matter, but I don't think he was doing threatening in that moment. So that being said, door number 4, Sincere segment. And like I said, they already saw Sincere segment. Now it makes sense to the validity of what Trini was saying. So they saw Sincere segment before they saw KC's. That's why I feel like a KC segment and a 9 segment, it was all riled up. Because Sincere, they was like all shocked. So Sincere segment, they saw the segments, they saw his lies, they saw his exploring soul, they saw that he was when he was saying soul, and then he was saying the Melody, and Melody thinking she was crazy because everybody was trying to tell her it's like it's not bad, it's like that, it's just let it be, or like work it out, he keep choosing you and whatnot. She thought America hated her. And more of us can't believe she entertained him after seeing that. I said, girl, you should have stopped entertaining him. You should have entertained him. You should not entertain him before you when you went to Casa. So I don't want to hear all that. Save your little side comment. Save your little side comment. Because you knew how he was moving before you got in the Casa, and you still decided to pursue him. And I don't know if you were forced to pursue him because you had nobody else wanted to talk to you, or you just went after the door that he was going to be your ticket way in, knowing that he could use you up and still go back to Melody because he'd been doing that before. That's why I say his type is dangerous. Y'all want to say KC is dangerous? Fine. But Sincere is dangerous too. But no. Y'all condemn one and let the other one scotch free. I don't like that. So, especially, well, and then I said, well, Melody and Sincere is in 2 different coasts. She's the West Coast. He's all on the East Coast. So he got more range to do whatever he wants because she's not going to be watching him. And he's still young. He's still desired. Doesn't matter what people do. People still on his dick. So there's no consequences to actions. She don't America hated her. And I said, I don't think America, it was sad for me to see her like that because I was like, I don't think America hated you. Now, like I said, opinions are valid in both sides. They are pointing people who did want to humble Melody because they didn't like how she moved and whatnot. So they broke up her with Sincere to pair with Soul, and we had to do it because we had to vote for Bombshell with a person. And so somebody, a couple will break up no matter what. And the fact that he spent a lot of time with Soul, it was the only logical choice. There were people who did wanted to humble her, so they did that to see how, because she was crashing out, she was doing the most, and they want to shut her down or something like that. Because they see she was the most toxic one, and they don't see Sincere that much. I don't know. That's their mindset. The other side, they was like, you know what? We want to free her from him. Hopefully, Soul could deal with him, and she could focus on other people. So, depending on what side you on, it is what it is. But I don't think America really hated her. It's a half-half. It depends. Some people didn't like her. Some people did like her. So that's also. So that's that. Then they did Corbin door two. His segment was saying all that. He didn't give a damn. He didn't care. He said, "Okay, I see what it is. I say this. That's all I read. That's it. That's it." He didn't give a damn. He said F Kinsey over the connection with promoter. He said he's not begging nobody. He said that the Villa girls are acting high school girls. He said Kinsey likes anyone who likes her. I said that's right. That's true. That's true. We seen it. Anybody give her attention, she likes you. And it's crazy. So she come in and said she wasn't a roster girl. It was funny that Nia said she was, but Nia didn't move that she was had a roster. Kinsey moved that she had a lot of rosters. I said, girl, if you're not a roster girl, you couldn't move the way you was moving if you didn't do that in the real world. It could be that, or because you never experienced that, you just let everything run out. You just let it ride out. It's fun for you to do that. I said, oh my God, now I'm getting a roster. Everybody want me, so let me ride out. But he had got an ick at Kinsey. He had an ick. And he said what he said was true. And now he's still pissed at the segment because, he said more about things like all that. So door 7, Kinsey segment. They went light on Kinsey segment. They show the sneaker behind Corbin and his thing, but they did not show what she was saying in that segment. And they didn't also show how she would have venomous towards Melody about Melody being connected with Corbin. They did not show that. They show her going back and forth between Corbin and Kata. But I was like, I wish they would have ended that in about how connection she did with God. But I think this was before that movie nights because never had to vote it. So at that they were gone or something happened or two after they people voted. So they could have. But I said, y'all production, y'all had the clip, y'all can put it in like y'all want to put it in. Like, don't tell me you can't do that. Caleb said he was blindsided. He should have put too many eggs in one basket and whatnot. I don't say. But all that said is done. Kinsey ain't put him in a fight. She knew when she saw herself looking at everybody said, oh, Kinsey, that's not good. But I said, y'all should have done more with Kinsey segment. So don't do that. Don't do that. Y'all should have done more. Especially with the co-serenity, y'all should just put more validity to that segment. And y'all went light on her. But whatever. But Kinsey understand, no, she did. It was optic. She didn't say much. Nobody was stepping in and everything. She said a kiss is like a handshake. Now, if I would have said that, I said, girl, what you mean? A kiss like a handshake? So you just giving kisses like a giving kisses? It's just a handshake? So we just kissing anybody, huh? If I would say, hold up, girl, that don't even sound right. So you need to get over that logic real quick. I know she told Nia that too. And I said, Nia, do you feel like that was freaking wrong? She said that. But whatever. Dylan said that clip reminded of her what she did with Girl. I said, yes, it's true, but a girl bar, I don't care about you. Get out my face, Dylan. Get the fuck out my face. Go by, go somewhere. You don't need no sympathy from me. Get out my face. A up here trying to make it all. She already feel down as it is. Now you trying to add more salt to the wound. You guilt trip her to be with you, so you ain't no better. If I'm here. So door number 9 was the Melanie, her and Corey kids segment, and then it went to straight to Sincere and Mora. So it was mostly the Melanie and Sincere segment, how she was connected with Corey, right? And Sincere with the Mora connection. It was serving him. He emerged in experience. He said that about that, and he would have had more time. She would have been the one. So Mara said, rejection is protection. Rejection is protection. Okay, girl. If he would have picked you, you would feel the same way? Because it's like you bought it and he didn't bring you back. You seem like you bought it and he didn't bring you back. And according to people freaking on Twitter and After Sun, you have more smoke for Melody than you have for Sincere, and the one who freaking lied to you. But I said I can't hold you. I cannot make you the victim when you are a Casa girl and the Casa girls and boys see the show before everybody. Y'all have an advantage of knowing knowledge. That's why in the villa, everybody was trying to tell Melody, listen, Sincere is not the person you think he is. He been messing up, and you gonna see the truth. But Melody didn't want to see it. Child, because everybody keep telling her that. All the guys in the villa was telling her that. Everybody was trying to tell her that. I said, girl, Sincere is not a person. Don't stay loyal to this motherfucker. Because they see what we see before they got there. Now, why not in casting now as if it's because now you're inexperienced? But before that, y'all was in the hotel room watching all the clips before you got in there. So don't miss me about all that bullshit you trying to pull out. I said, Mom, get out of my face. You know exactly how you moved, and you thought you could be better. Or you thought you got your ticket went in. And that was your game plan. But I said, now you in the villa, you ain't do shit with it. Because my motherfucker figures Sincere said big dog. When he big dog you, he figures friend zone you quick. It was no more connection with you. You had a conversation with her, you talk, all that stuff. He said, yeah, you like all that. All right, see you later, big dog. I said, oh, that's there. She said, oh, big dog is crazy. I said, yeah, he big dog your ass, girl. Somebody said you should have picked her. And I know Mom would say that, well, I would never subject myself like, I would never be at a Melanie and subject myself with Melanie. I said, girl, well, you still entertained the bitch. So what the hell you talking about? Oh, you want to be the girl who will keep taking the man back, but you entertain a guy that you know he was a lone liar and deceptor, a cheater, heartbreaker. And that's space in the real world. When we see the evidence of a guy being effed up, a woman still will entertain the guys. Women still will be in his DMs. Women still want to entertain them. Women still thought they were going to be different until they get the same experience. And now you are coming to the internet crying to all of us when you thought you was the hot shit. No, keep that energy that you got when you got with him. We don't care now. We don't care now. A woman could see a guy knock a woman across the table and still try to get a pussy. Well, it didn't happen to me. And then when it happens to you, now you're going to cry. Or because you have been chosen. So it's not about disrespect to these people. It's about being chosen. It is mirroring the real world. And now, fortunately, a lot of them was young. They were someone who's close to their 30s, but a lot of them young. So they have a lot to learn to do, and they can learn from this. Especially when they get in a villa, outside the villa, and they get their phones back. They see what people are saying. They see that and hopefully they can learn and be better for themselves and flourish and thrive and have a healthy relationship. And knowing that, you know what, I was moving mad here. Or what I was telling my girl to keep picking with this dusty behind. We'll be better. So hopefully they learn from this. So I'm not gonna go hard on it, but I'm not gonna be standing one side and beating down one person because I like this person so much. No, they all can have learned to do. They all mess up, and if we all could do that, then they all could understand. But when we got fan base that only stick with that one person and think they could do nothing wrong, they will continue to do their behavior and think there's nothing wrong. That's not right. So you should, if you had more time and everything, you could have picked her and you would have had more time. So don't come here saying you could do that. And then I'm tired of hearing people tell us shit because she told the girls to say, well, people were saying, well, he chooses you. She's like, I'm tired of you all telling me that. Unless he choose you. Because it doesn't make me a prize by getting chosen. She looked like a fool. So when he piped up, because you know he normal fashion, guys like that normal fashion. Oh yeah, you right, you messed up with that. But you did the same thing when you did Corbin. She said, "What the hell I did with Corbin?" So you know he never really takes fuck out. He will say yes, you right, and apologize, and don't want to act like he's combative. But he's so what? Feel like he vindicated because you did this. Y'all know he keep doing that, right? But nobody picking up on that. All because he chose you. He did that when he came in. When he came in, what you mean? That he came in, he kissed all the girls? That's the came in you talk about? Or he wanted to kiss Melanie and Melanie said no? She is drained. She said she looked stupid when we pick him up. Amal said, I want to deal with Melanie today. I said, get out of my face. So Melanie went upstairs. I think that was the end of movie night. I said, oh, so she just went upstairs in her moment and then everybody, movie night just ended. That's what I said movie night was blah. So I think the only segment that was switched was the first set of segment was So Her was switched and she was crying and then all stuff like that. And then, like I said, Casey was not first. I think Casey last. And they flipped it and made the first and made Sincere the last segment. I don't know what's going on. Whatever. But we do know that they were flipped. Now, hold on, y'all. Yes. Keep picking him. So she went upstairs and I went after her to console Melody. But I was saying, why is she the only one though? Because I know Anaya and Melody has this little close bond. But I said, if the girls supposed to be on bonding, so y'all all go console her. Because I remember at first, when Anaya was breaking down, they all would console Anaya. But then again, she broke down for real, and Melody went after her, and everybody stood back. And then this time, Melody go upstairs and crying, and only Anaya stood up. I said, no, girl, let's y'all girls go stand up and say something too. Movie night ended, so go check for her. Maybe everybody could, and you know, sometimes production cut things off. So we don't see people doing something, and they actually was there, and they did something. So I don't know. The guy so cool, or to say, you can't keep fucking up. You can't keep fucking up. So they Corbin and somebody told him and said, listen, if she sleep in the bed, you sleep in the bed. But she sleep outside, you go outside, sleep outside, and let her keep the bed. Sincere say yes. That motherfucker give a damn. That motherfucker put his bonnet on and slept right in that bed. He said, whoop. And she up there had a bad omen with the owl. She said, oh my gosh, the owl. So she stepped on the couch. He didn't even check up on her and nothing. They wanted KC to do to check up on Naya. Sincere ain't do shit to check up on Melanie. And all he had to do is feel sorry, clear his act, do a nice gesture. She could take him back and he could do it all over again. And that's a dangerous man. A bird soldier, light up. Light up. So when I say sincere lies, effed up the trajectory and the dominant effect, because I think for like when he was all in soul, it had everybody thinking this that what, and it was all about soul and everything. That's what probably why KC probably didn't enjoy it, because he said, Lord, I think Melanie, I think Sincere really liking this soul girl. He really into her, and he gonna pick her. So maybe fall back. If I would have explored her too and the sex Sincere, he would respect the sex Sincere. Now obviously he could just wish he did it, no matter what Sincere was doing. But I feel like when Sincere was spoon feeding everybody, because the point that because the whole blow up that everybody had with KC, even in Corbin, they was shocked too what the Sincere was doing. They was saying, hold up, what the fuck this guy was doing? Telling that it's all about her, but then going back here, lying, this, that, and doing all this craziness. Then he had that. So it prevented people to really explore her. Other people probably wanted other people like probably wanted the melody. Probably like there was other stuff that's going on that could have been. I think the season when I went down and went down, if everybody was able to do what they could do, without the sake of a person moving a little foul and funny, and feeding off the lies and feeding off some breadcrumbs, and they believe in that. Because that's what Trinity would keep saying. They keep believing it. They keep believing it. They knew what he was doing. They keep believing it. I said, I don't know the extent that he was doing, but when he was telling them the lies, they believed it. They believed his lies. So I feel like if he was able to fully explore Saul, maybe KC put boundaries with Saul. Maybe Anaya and him will never had this craziness blow up, or they would have at least split amicably, or whatever happened, and things could fall into place. Maybe Melody probably would have been with Corbin, at least try. And other people was like, a lot of things would probably happen better if it wasn't for one person's selfishness. That he eliminated Soul, so she won't talk. And I guess people told me Soul had more smoke for Melody too than Sincere too. So I said, girl, I don't know what's up, I like you, girl, but you gonna have more smoke for the girl than the person because you clocked his ass after he fucking about you. I said, I don't know what to tell you either, girl. So I don't care to be on my side. I'll just wait for union and see how it's happening. Y'all should be feeling, y'all should be on Melody's side. But no. So in the midst of that, Anaya, which I understand, I said that's growth. I like that. I like that because I don't know if production made her do it or not. It's besides the point. She apologized for her action. She apologized for walking up to him, standing over him, yelling at him because she said that's outside her character. She shouldn't have done that. And he apologized for the same thing for standing up and getting her face. I said, you didn't get in her face. You just stood up. But still, he apologized. She apologized. They moved forward and everything. And he said he didn't want to be threatened. He just wanted to be heard. She said she understood that and they apologized. Now people say they wouldn't have done that. But I say, you know what? I appreciate her doing that. Because at the end of the day, it wasn't only one party here. It was multiple wrong parties here. And they all could take accountability. So I appreciate that. The girls made up, I think TT made up the Trinity and everything. They're all good now. And Anaya. They hug it out. They even like that TT defended KC. So I was even mad that she defended them. They said, even behind side, they say, you know what? Girl, we appreciate defending your man. They wasn't mad. And now in the moment, it was heat in the moment, but they wasn't mad. But they hug it out. They good. Anaya told Kenzie she effed up. called. He said he understand what's going on. I know a lot of emotions going on. He heard, understand, and he still was going. She was happy. The kids and all that stuff. And that was good. So Melanie just going off and saying, "Listen, I'm drained." He said, "So he said he's a people pleaser." She said, okay, I understand it. But what about Soul was a people pleaser? That was not people pleasing. I'm glad she checked him on it because that's not people pleasing. If we were people pleased, you would have been with her. You didn't people please. You were selfish. You know, he could say, "Yes, I messed up. You like, I feel disgusted." Yeah, well, you should feel disgusted. Feel disgusted, yeah. She said, "You have to deal with the consequences." We're coupling this tomorrow with the gospel pick. So let's get into this stuff because I was not done with that. So Naya met in the entry. Oh, that before that, Anaya and Casey had a really heart to heart. She didn't walk away. She did all that stuff. They really understand each other. Nobody really tuckled over each other. They let each other say what they had to say. She said she had no hard feelings for you because as much as I hate to say it, but as much as that, I want love for kid. You deserve love for kid. I see how you are with TT. Hope you don't do the same thing to her like you did to me. Hash it out. They hug it out. I'm happy for you. You happy for her. No hate. And that's what it was. Listen, I like that. He did tell her he built resentment towards her that she didn't even know of. He said he was not faking his affection to her. He was not faking that like of her. He really did like the girl. It just happened that he built resentment. It happened that it just kind of fell apart, their relationship. They are done with the arguing. They finished that. They said we tired of each other. We tired arguing, and they both decided. They said let's move on. He happy for her. They hug it out. She happy for him, and that's that. So now he told Melanie and Trinity, say, you know what? As much I forgive him, as much as that he deserves love too. And Trinity saying, you know what? You right. You right. He deserves it too. Say no hate towards him. So sincere words. She said sincere words is nothing. He need action because he said a bunch of nothing. So Jaden told some girls, I think it was Palmita and I think another girl, that she was not really feeling Caleb like that because he's not dominant enough, and she was scared that she would hurt him because our past experiences was people who was dominant. He's a nice guy, but he's not dominant. It's like that. So you wasn't feeling him like that. So when he's saying he get the feeling that you not be affectionate, and he wants to know how to expose the situation because he wanted to say how he could go by saying that, he was talking to Bryce and Trinity, and she was like not too far away from him. So she was hearing the conversation say, yes, maybe she should talk to her, but he just wanted to get advice and whatnot. So they went and they had a little spill going on. I don't really care for Jacob like that. So, okay, the conversation not much. He talked about affection. He said she's surface level, and she didn't deny all that. But he said, how can you talk about connection? Everything's the same. Talk about connection. I'm gonna get more to you. I'm gonna get deeper. I'm like that. He said, you keep surface level. You don't want to talk to something outside the villa. You don't want to do this. You know, something like that. So I said, how can I feel something? Because he went along with this person before trying to connection. It's telling him they had connection, and then they shitted on him, Kinsey. So he just wanted to make sure. But I said, good. If you wanted to know more about him, something like that, you could lead conversation too. You said like you don't think of leading nothing. He trying to do almost leading. Instead of kissing all the time, maybe say, hold on, we kissing and affection on. Let me learn about the children. What's about your family? What about this? So that's that. So now he said she team sincere. I said, your friend is crying and drained, and he still team sincere. Okay, girl. Whatever. Katie said, what about T Finley? She said, I can't about T Finley. Right? So Sincere did that little thing that he saw Corey did. I said he did none of that all this time. And now he wanna do it. So he did the road, did the breakfast, all that extra shit. And she said it's cute, but she said, I need more of that. I said, you could get more of that, and he could still do what he's doing. So all that nice gestures is the only way to slap you. Not the way to slap you, but to shut you up. So you want to keep saying that. He said, oh, he still loves me, and everything. He be good, drop down your guard, and then he go back to doing the same thing he did before. And you get upset, then you find out again. He gonna keep doing the same nice gestures, and it's a repeated cycle. It's a repeated cycle. Unless you break out of that cycle and leave him a good, he gonna continue doing that until he actually change. Jen said she was talking to Gal, but there's no connection there. Also, I said, I don't know what to talk to Gal. And then she complained like, oh, why he don't get a member? I said, girl, just throw the breakfast away. If you don't want no breakfast for him and all that stuff like that, and you feel all disgust that he can't make breakfast right, just throw the shit away. Or give it back to him. Text recoupling. Is a recoupling. Guys gotta pick. The one who's not picked is single and vulnerable. So Amora, see, that's his dusty ass. So Jen trying to talk to Gal, because at the end of the day, Gal has the power. He has the power for two girls to pick, and one of them won't be going home. So Mora, Jen talked to Gal, and then Gal talked to Mora, and she said, you know, she been dogging you, right? So we pillow talking. The girls talk about what they talk about in the dressing room. You go bring that out and tell him that she dogged you to miscue them so he could pick you. We know what you're doing. The game wise, fine. You want to play the game, you did it. You won up. But girls wise, and all that girl shit, that was fucking whack. Did you tell him that you feel like, yes, Go is nice, but I don't see no romantic thing with him. It's a friendship thing. Did you tell him that? No, you want to tell him what Jen did to dog him out. Yeah, God called it dog. He said, is Amara telling him this to stay in the villa? Exactly. I'm glad she got voted off. Exactly. Yeah, he said, did you tell me this to stay in the Yeah, she did say that to get stay in there. So the coupling. And when my missus said that last night, I said, you know what, it's true. Because I said, why are we doing all this? And we know the only thing, we know Gold will be last. It's like, it's very predictable that Gold will be last because Gold have poor choice of two people. So there was no need for all the ladies to stand up. Just shift your chairs. I said, I'll pick you, I'll pick you, I'll pick you, I'll pick you, pick you. You sit next to the person and only God, only Jen and Mark can stand up. And then go and pick your pick. We're going to save all that time. But we gotta sit there. I choose this girl because of that. I choose this girl because of that. I choose this girl because of that. I said, no, shut up. I choose a girl. Sit down. Let's go. So Bryce and Trinity, Zach and Kata, Corbin Palmita, Dylan and Kinsey, Carl and Anaya, Casey Tierra, Cecilia and Melanie, Kata and Jaden, and Gar and Amara. So everybody's together. And then it was like, so Jen is done for the island. So they get a little time to say their goodbyes to her and move on. But then Miss Ariana Maddox, girl, hey, she said, listen, the night is not over. And I said we'll be dumping, but I ain't telling how many people will be dumping. Because besides Jen, 4 more people was going home. Tonight. So the Islanders had to vote 2 couples you feel like is least compatible. They're discussing among the couples and then discuss why you picked the people. To be honest, I didn't write down none of these statements because it was too much to go by to write down. So the 2 people who's going home is Amora and Gal and Jada and Caleb. And I say, you know what? It makes sense because the core 4 were not going to vote for each other. So the only options was going to be Amora and Gal, Jada and Caleb. If you want to put Kinsey and Dylan there, you could put that them. And maybe Corbin and Palmita. So the core four was not gonna pick nobody. They each other. They're not gonna pick each other. So they're gonna stay stacked with their mans. So it was only those four options. And Gallimore, they just coupled up, so that was an easy choice to get voted off. And Jada and Caleb, they didn't have much going on, so bye. But kids, it was this close to going home. Yes, I was upset. Even after Ariana told them to leave the fact that they were friends out of it, they still voted according to friendship. They did. They did. They vote on the compatibility. Because Melanie and Cecilia had a couple of votes too, and they understand the vote. And then when Pomita said, she said, "You deserve better." I felt like this is crazy. This is too much cycle and everything, and he's not going to really change and like that. You deserve better than them. And Melanie appreciate that. She said, "I appreciate someone who will tell me that as a real friend, because you don't deserve this guy. You don't. No, I said that wrong. He don't deserve you." I like Corbin, Palmita, and Melody's honesty. I know that's right. I like Melody. I just wish that she didn't dim her light for this guy, because you can tell her whole energy, her whole character is being beat down because it's sincere. Corbin going to fuck, so he's all about him. He don't care. And Palmita's doing that. It's like that. I know Palmita said this. Listen, why? Because Kizzy voted for Corbin Palmita because she did that out of spite. Yeah, she did that out of spite. Kizzy, you can say whatever you want. You did that thing out of spite. And Palmita said, "I don't know why you hating at me, because we all look good and we good looking and we work out. So you want to pick me? Go ahead, pick me, because you know you hate me." He just said, "That's not what it was." And I said, "Oh, girl, yes, it was." Yes, it was. And me, beat it as they may, Corbin and Palmita does are compatible with each other. Now, how long they will last, it is what it is. We're not talking about do you like the compatibility. You just got to talk about how they're compatible with each other, and they seem compatible. Even if it's lustful, surface level of relationship, they're compatible with each other. Mel sincere, not so much. No, exactly. She was lively and bright, and now she drained in the shows. Exactly. I hope Kinsey and Dylan or Naya and Carl get voted on next, because let's be real, they have no connection. I hear that. Yeah, I don't think Kinsey didn't have no connection like that. And Naya Carl just made up, but I was like, yes, we need more time to see that. The only way people will go going off of Naya Carl, because Carl is nice, Anaya, they like Anaya, they're gonna keep her in there for the sake of keep her in there. But I said we need to see more other than he picking up the pieces, saying the right things, and they kissing. I said we need more. I mean, they'll have some valuable experiences like that. She made like some of the things that he say, but we need more. So hopefully we see the test of times if they stay together outside the villa, if they see more and we see the connection more. For the sake of that, now. So that's that. So the Casa girls, they talk. TT says she don't really have much real friends outside the villa. I said, "Oh, girl, you don't have much real friends. So what's up with that?" So they say, "We got friendship for life, girl. We made it here." So next, the America got to vote for their favorite couple. Down. Hold up. By these two, there's seven couples left. They got to eliminate three more couples before the finals. Three more couples before the final. Because the final is always the top four. So who are the three couples you think they will believe in? They got Trinity and Vice. They got Zach and Kata. They got Corbin Palmita. They got Dylan and Kinsey. They got Cora and Nye. They got Casey and Tierra. They got Sincere and Melody. if the final four formula is still gonna be the same, who do you think gonna be the top four? We do know that Trinity and Bryce is definitely gonna be the top four. Because a lot of people like Anaya, I think Anaya Cole still will be the top four. So I would say, if anything, people might want to keep the core four together. I don't know why, whatever, but it's based on accountability. It is what it is. But Bryce and Trinity, Zach and Kata, people like Melody. People like to say it, but they don't want to keep Melody to the end. But I said, saving her to the end is going to give her the force hope, because that's what she thought. Everybody hated her, so she would fight so hard to be with him. And I said, no, we wanted to break you off because we wanted to be wanted the better for you. Melody sincere, and I think Dylan and Kinsey would be dumped, and I think maybe Casey and Tia might be dumped. It will leave Bryce Trinity, Zach and Kata. Oh shit! I didn't say couple. I said three couples. It may be Corbin and Pomita. Ada, Carl Naya, and Melody Sincere. They'll be the top four. Because of the options of friendship that everybody did. But we want to say compatibility. I said Trinity Bryce, KCTT, Corbin Pomita. I don't care for Zach like that. Okay, then. So I would put Carl and I at the 4-4. That would be my final four pick. Who will be your final four couples? But I already know. I guess it's predictable who we know the top four will be. So Corbin Pomita, Dylan Kinsey, and I think Casey and TT. Y'all prepare, pack your bags, and y'all be going home. But if America do that big one and shock me, then I say, oh, okay, I see what y'all doing, girls. But we don't know. We do know, but hopefully they prove me wrong. But I guess they won't prove me wrong. They won't prove me right. So that was that. I hope I enjoyed y'all. I hope y'all enjoyed this review and my discussion of it. Like I said, next Sunday it's a finale. So this week is the last week of the. Tonight they doing couples karaoke. I said I don't know why we gonna see that, but I guess we gonna see some laughter. Hopefully we see some fun and whatnot. But I guess. Now I don't even watch After Sun, but a lot of people is upset with Case, Sierra and Teffy, because last week you understood a little bit, but now you roasted Casey. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I don't watch After Sun, so I'm not gonna be opinion on that. But I'm just saying, keep it. If y'all gonna stick with one, don't let people beat y'all to the death to change your stance. No, if y'all stand whatever, y'all want to keep it neutral, keep it neutral. Yeah, it's a fun episode because they said they said announcing After Sun it's gonna be a karaoke couples karaoke thing going on tonight. We'll watch it, but I don't know if I'm gonna take notes because I'm just probably watch it and just call it a day because it's gonna be a filler. It's gonna be a filler. But any last thoughts about this update? Any last thought about anything that I discussed? Anything that you might disagree with me with? It's fine. I don't take offense of disagreement. But until then, we will watch the episode tonight. So around midnight Eastern Standard Time, y'all come back on my Discord. We watch it together. The core, our core four, and nice one sincere. I low key think that she wanted it because she wanted him in the first beginning. That's why she keep giving him so many chances. And I said, good. If you're gonna be a friendship with Melanie, and Melanie break up with Sincere, hope she does. You gotta let Sincere go. gotta let sincere go for the sake of your friendship. Especially now the type of guy he is, and your friend, and you gonna be close friends with him, y'all gonna have built this bond. Because I believe y'all core four could build or start a friendship. But if you let men get between your friendship, then your friendship will fracture, and I don't want that to happen. So don't let no men get between your stuff, because it only take a piece of man to break up your friendship. We don't want that happening. And I don't want to hear nothing about being chosen. No, think about your friend and say, listen, I don't care you keep you my friend, but if you gonna keep hurting her, she'll leave. Or tell my friend to leave. Or Melly's sister get on Naya. Ooh, child. Yeah, I think I think I remember seeing that. She was saying that she don't have an issue with Naya. She just saying that she don't like that Naya was giving her bad advice. Her sister bad advice. But then Naya said at the end, she said, listen, you gonna keep taking her back, you gonna take her back, what do you want me to do? And that's another part. I said, yeah, if you're gonna keep taking her back, girl, there's not much you need to say. I'm just gonna be there for you. But I won't offer no advice. I just listen to you. And that's what you gotta do. And let her make the decision on her own. That's what you have to do. With people like that, Melly had to take that stance and realize she deserved better. If she don't feel like she deserved better, she gonna keep going back to him. And I don't really watch Beyond the Villa, but I would say, is this cast interesting enough to even watch Beyond the Villa with them? Yes, be there, but offer no advice. Now, they did say it's a rumor. I don't know if it's how true or not. Production or Peacock put it out there that the finale episode will probably be like 3 hours or something like that. I don't know. It could be 3 hours. I said, damn, why are we watching that long? It's bad enough we got an hour and a half. But sometimes the finale do be like 2 hours though. The finale usually be like long. It's an extra hour, I guess. I don't know. They gonna say they got some unseen footage that didn't show us. I said, if you're not gonna show us what's behind those three doors, don't show us nothing. Don't hear nothing. I don't know if I can sit through the finale, but we're gonna sit through it. Especially if I watch it with y'all. If I watch by myself, I say, okay, I'm gonna make skip a lot of this stuff. But there was some points I would skip because that whole speeches, all that stuff, I'm gonna skip all that. I don't feel like all that. I don't see it. They tell me who won, and I don't know who y'all think. Anybody would be devious to keep that whole 100K for themselves. I want to know if anyone be any devious enough to keep the 100K for themselves and not split the money. Hey, but yes, we'll watch the thing tonight. Hopefully, some laugh, and we're gonna continue watching Love Out of UK too because UK is getting there. It's getting there, but we watching it as much as possible. But yeah, the last week, y'all. So let's see what they give it. It's gonna be a couple of more. The American favorite votes is to was last night, so the results will be tonight. So I think it might be another dumping tonight. I believe. So we can break down a couple of things because there got to be three more eliminations before the finale. Three more eliminations, or at least three more people. Couples got to leave before the finale. Remember, Trinity, Bryce, or Zach would do that. Oh, child, I would gag. I said, ooh. So the results of the couple of the favorite couple. So I don't know how to do it because usually every time they add leads us a vote, they lead us a vote, but others always have the final say. So I don't know how they're gonna do this. Maybe the last two couples who got the least votes, and the others will go stand behind the couple they want to save or whatnot. And then the one couple got the least will go home. Like I said, I already know who's gonna be the top four because it's predictable at this point. But hopefully, people prove me wrong. But I appreciate y'all. I love y'all coming through. Thank you for the Sunday morning. I always like this, do this before I go to work, so give me something to do. We'll be here again next Sunday for the last week. And like I said, I did not forget about other shows. Like we had caught up on RHOA, we had caught up on RHOI. We got catch up on Bell Collective, Heart Hustle. I think I would do like a overall live for that after this Love Island season ends, to talk freely about any one of those shows and what we got to talk about. It's not gonna be no notes taken because I ain't take no notes. Just gonna freely talk about whatever those shows, whatever order we want to talk about, and get out the way. So we do that. So we catch up on the shows, and we'll go back to the book stuff after Love Island, and then Ultimatum's coming back out 3 days after all Love Island ends. So we're gonna be watching that too. So I appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Hope y'all have a good Sunday. And hope y'all had a great 4th as well. And I'll talk to y'all later. Peace out. All right, talk to y'all later, y'all. Peace out.